I spend my time alone. I hated the road. I left it once, but now I'm back to stay. Now I write about the things I love. My music comes first, so I hope you can understand. I needed my time and I needed the road. I think she knew by the way I closed the door that I ain't coming home. I think she knew by the way I spend my time alone. I needed the road. Stays a dream. Gonna find me a band and hit the road. Can't play in the day, cause my neighbor complains. Can't play at night, mama says it's too loud. I think she knew by the way I closed the door that I ain't coming home. I think she knew by the way I spend my time alone. Needed the road. She knew by the way I closed the door that I ain't coming home. I think she knew by the way I spend my time alone. I needed the road. I think she knew by the way I closed the door that I ain't coming home. I think she knew by the way I spend my time alone. The road. I think she knew by the way I closed the door that I ain't coming home.
All right, I ain't coming home. Yep, think she knew. That was for his mother. All right, you guys, and we are back. You're listening to The Hotspot on WAPJ. My name is Darcy, the host of The Hotspot. We'll be here from 4 to about 7 o'clock, and I'm in the studio with Joey Sexton bandmates. We got Andy, we've got Dave, we've got Brian, and then we've got an old musical friend of Joey's, Tim Durham, hanging out in the background, and he'll be popping in, and different people will be popping in. But we're playing Joey's music. We're going to play everything in its entirety today, and we actually even got some more new music coming in. So thank you, Tim, for bringing us the old stuff. Yay. Cool. There's no swears in any of that, right? No. All right. That's it. So. Well, that's it. That's always my disclaimer. Everybody, community radio, FCC. If you're under 3 feet tall and you can't hear it, then it shouldn't be here. No, but Joey, we had a discussion about that. About writing lyrics and stuff like that and making things radio friendly. And he never really had a song with a swear in it. He never wrote one with a swear in it. I'm sure he swore when he was writing them.
He swore at us a lot when we were trying to
He didn't need it in the lyrics. He had it everywhere else.
I'd like to give a shout out to Joe Scortino, who was the original bass player in the Joey Sexton band. I don't know if he's listening, but he took the brunt of the abuse, I think, for a couple of years there. I think he heard some choice words, probably had to, wash out his ears when he got home. But yeah, and the song.
He probably said a few too, though. I know Joe Scortino.
Joey's
point of making it radio friendly.
Yeah.
It wasn't Joey's goal. I don't think it was his goal to write popular music, but I think he wrote pop music, within that framework. I think he always. Things were very structured and things were very organized and recognizable. And I think that he wrote a lot of pop songs that, maybe will still find an audience.
Well, you know what? It's funny because Mark Papalo, who is another good friend of Joey's, he and I were talking when you guys were playing down at Central Cafe. Mm-hmm. And we were sitting in the back kind of talking, and he says, He says, no matter what Joey writes, it's always relevant. And, he's like, his music is so relevant and it stays relevant. The story behind, whatever it is. So that was one of the comments that he had made.
Yeah, that's actually true.
Yeah.
Well, I was writing a song with him a couple months ago. I had come up with a good bass riff, and there was some weirdness in it because any song that I write is a little weird. And Joey did make a point to change some of the song around because it was just too weird, and he thought it was not radio friendly.
Too weird for
and
Joey?
He was telling me that everything that he wrote had to have that certain, just very universal vibe to it, and not get too far out there. And yeah, he wasn't into the too far out there. But
right.
So his stuff all had a very, very hometown spun feel to it, a very Americana feel to it. Whether you can call it Southern rock or country rock or whatever you want to kind of call it, it was, whether it was acoustic or electric, it all had a very Americana feel about it.
Yeah,
Traditional
absolutely.
American rock and roll.
Good old boy. Like we could all relate to it to some degree. All of his songs. As a matter of fact, we're going to get started. We're going to play a couple of songs off of the Games CD, and we'll get started with that. What do you guys think? Make sure I got the right one in there. Well, they handed me 2 CDs now. I'm all confused. It's been a long weekend.
CD, what's that?
Yeah, right.
Most-
CD.
That DJ gets confused by 2 CDs.
Well, when they look alike.
I see. Okay.
And normally,
I
no.
thought 2 was the requisite number. I thought you were supposed to have 2, but
Well, 2 CDs, and then the laptop, and then the PC.
oh, don't forget your phone.
Yeah, don't forget your phone, Spotify, iTunes.
Plus, people will be calling in on the telephone.
Yes, and actually, we're going to be talking with Laurent from California in probably another 10 minutes or so. So we're going to go ahead and get some music going. All right, Games.
Got a broken mojo, lost my lucky charm. Take what you want from me, baby, keep me free from harm. I say now, angel, catch me as I fall. Save me from the demon, she goes by the name of love. Just spend one night with me, lose yourself in time. Fly away tomorrow, your secret will be mine. The secret of an angel will be mine. Or take this ring. Talk to an angel, she told me in a dream. She said tomorrow ain't never what it seems. Just spend one night with me, lose yourself in time. Fly away tomorrow, your secret will be mine. The secret of an angel will be mine. Or take this ring. Angel will be mine. But you break my heart at least 1,000 times. And still 1,000 more, I'd do the same. Yet I've always walked along the thin line, only knowing trouble by her name. Now you got me all tore up, down to the floor on up, and yet I still survive through all the pain. I watch the whiskey drag you down and out, and I've seen the cocaine run your life. Only God in me could see, walking away might set me free. I guess I'm too damn blind to see the light. Carry me down Jagged Edge River, down to the falls where the two paths meet. Carry me down to the path of least resistance. Maybe gotta lap it along and set me free. Traveled the roads for days, not knowing where they'd end. Well, this one always leads me back to you. But this time this road's running out, and this ride's filled with too much doubt. Running out of time and out of fuel. Carry me down Jagged Edge River, down to the falls where the two paths meet. Carry me down to the path of least resistance. Maybe gotta lap it along and set me free. Carry me down Jagged Edge River, down to the falls where the two paths meet. Carry me down to the path of least resistance. Maybe gotta lap it along and set me free. Yeah, maybe gotta lap it along and set me free. Maybe gotta lap it along and set me free. Maybe gotta lap it along and set me free. Yeah, maybe gotta lap it along and set me free.
Here we go. All right, Jagged Edge River. And while we're on, we were talking. Go ahead and talk into your mic. Tell me if that one's working.
Hello, testing 1, 2, 3.
All right. And now that one should be working too. Spin that right around.
Hello.
Let's see. Go ahead. Say hello, Tim.
How are you?
All right. I think we got it. I don't know what happened, but I think we got rid of the gremlins. I'll check in my headset here. Jagged Edge River. We were just talking about when you guys play that in the studio, and
Yeah, he used to torment me with that one. That was one of the songs where I learned that Joey knew how to speak drum. So he would say it's rat da 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 da, and then I would play some approximation of that, and he would, no, that's not it. Rat da 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 da. Try it again, and even if I got it right, he would still tell me it was wrong, and we'd go from there.
yeah,
So I would tell him, look, as long as it's in time, don't ask for too much.
right.
You know, but,
I usually had to turn around and tell them, no, I did it right that time. There we go. Okay.
yeah, if I could get somebody to
let it go.
back me up.
Right.
it would- yeah.
He always played everything more than once, that's for sure.
Yes, that is fantastic. Well, I love his music.
He actually took that out of the set list for a long time because he thought I couldn't get the intro right. Which maybe he was right. I don't know. Maybe I wasn't playing what he could hear in his head. That was a frequent source of consternation.
Right. And it was always amazing. Like, he would hear a song or, even things that I'd been working on writing, and I'd bring him like the really rough, like, we kind of got it down so we could work on it, Carrie and I. And, you know, one song in particular he loved, and he was just like, this is what I hear. I mean, he would hear the whole orchestration of a song, like, after hearing it the first couple of times. And he would just be like, he would layer that thing, like, right in his head. He knew exactly what it should sound like.
Yes, the uncluttered mind.
Well, I don't know if I would call his mind uncluttered, but, you know.
Music, he was focused, though, that's
Yes.
for sure.
Yeah, he knew what he wanted to hear. And the first time that I ever played with Joey, every bass line, including like the simplest, dumbest cover song like Mustang Sally, had it be exactly like the way Joey wanted it. And I was playing, you know, Mustang Sally, but it wasn't exactly the bass line that Joey wanted to hear. So he had to show me, you know, this is the way I want the Mustang Sally bass line to be.
Yes. Oh, my goodness. That microphone's cutting in and out, so you guys are going to have to share. I don't know if there's something wrong with that jack, but
Chord looks
yeah, it's all right. You guys are going to have to share. You have to go a little closer. Sorry. It might be the jack. But it is now 4:30. You are listening to The Hotspot. My name is Darcy. We are in the studio with the Joey Sexton Band members. We are doing a tribute to Joey, talking about his music and reminiscing and talking. And I want to thank the following for making that possible for us to do. The Nutmeg Conservatory for the Arts, Torrington Ford Lincoln, Adams Roofing, Siding, Windows and Gutters, Torrington Downtown Partners, Torrington Savings Bank, TDI, Torrington Distributors, Inc., and the Charlotte Hungerford Hospital. Thank you guys for continually stepping up to the mic and supporting WAPJ, your community radio station. We are located on your FM dial at 89.9 and 105.1. And if you're outside of our listening area, you can tune in live 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, right at WAPJ.org. Just hit that Tune In Live button or find us on your favorite TuneIn app. We are also on social media. We're on Snapchat and Twitter at WAPJ899 and Facebook WAPJ FM 89.9 and 105.1 FM Torrington. All right. Now that I got all that out. Wow. They're all like, wow.
Nice read, Darcy.
Thank you. And I didn't even fall over from
You
like
didn't
losing my
swear
breath.
once.
I didn't swear once, I'm telling you.
Amazing.
Oh my goodness, I know, and that was always one of the things, you know. It's like, all right, don't swear on the radio. So you guys want to listen to some more music? Why don't we go and play a couple songs from the CD that Tim brought in, which is actually, he made a copy for us. It was actually a cassette, right? So yeah, Joey, you know, this is some old stuff, and then
This is back in the 80s, I think it was, but this is stuff that Joey and I were playing out. So
nice. All right. Well, let's listen to a couple tracks and then we'll talk about it. All right. Pardon me, we're going to switch CD players because we have a gremlin in CD player 2 and it just doesn't want to cooperate, so we're just going to eliminate it. Not completely. It'll still be here, but you know. What was that? I don't have your mic. Yes, I know. Well, you know, we are, we're a community radio station. There we go.
Climbing the stairway to her love. Last night I called her, my baby, she wasn't home. Another rainy night, I spend it on my own. Pour myself a glass of wine and wait here all alone. I watch the rain fall, I hear it in the remember holding you close in all those nights I cried. I watched the rain fall, you down. I see them each time, I see them all around. Dream of your sweet love and the way we said goodbye. I remember holding you close in all those nights I cried. Living in a world where nothing's parallel. People don't talk to me, I don't talk to them. When I wanna boss, I'll buy one. When I wanna pray, I'll pray. I walk the streets at midnight in the rundown part of town. The rats and trash, they don't bother me, but nor do the drunks and the fools. The rats and trash, they don't bother me. I'd get out if I was you. The rats and trash, they don't bother me, but nor do the drunks and the fools. The rats and trash, they don't bother me. I'd get out if I was you. At night I walk the streets downtown. I hear the town is yell. Think I'll go and I'll join them for a little while. Late at night I'll come back home, call up an old friend, have a drink or two, then I stay for a while. The rats and trash, they don't bother me, but nor do the drunks and the fools. The rats and trash, they don't bother me. I'd get out if I was you. The rats and trash, they don't bother me, no. I'd get out if I was you. The rats and trash, they don't bother me, but nor do the drunks and the fools. The rats and trash, they don't bother me. I'd get out if I was you. The rats and trash, they don't bother me, no. But nor do the drunks and the fools.
All right. So Tim, you were around during that era of those songs. Tell us about those. Here.
So we
yeah.
So we were playing those back in the '80s, and then we played them up in, I think, Egremont and some places in Salisbury and stuff like that. And those are the first his first CD that was recorded up in Norfolk at John Mazzano's studio. And yeah, so I don't really know much to say about him except that it's really good stuff, though. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
So this was the set list you guys used to play when you played out.
Yeah, we played this album here. We played a bunch of cover songs from Jimi Hendrix and stuff like that. Yeah. So yeah. Yeah.
His latest thing was cover songs that were more country. Remember?
Yeah.
We,
The
that's,
latest
that's a whole
thing.
that's a whole conversation.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
we-
You
we-
and Tequila.
we started out playing Marshall Tucker and Leonard Skinner songs and some outlaw songs before he made this first recording here. So it was pretty cool too. But
Nice.
yeah, he was definitely into the country, into the southern rock music.
Awesome. So what do you guys? Did you guys ever play any of these songs when you guys played out?
Well, I'm sure we played all the same Hendrix tunes that you played. Yeah. He had his,
Same Rolling Stones and
yeah,
Hendrix.
the Stones. He had certain songs that, for our copy stuff, this is what we did. We've probably been playing them for years.
Right.
We never played anything off anything prior to games, though. So if he had music, he may have some of the songs that never got recorded during that time. I suspect we were working on songs that he had kicking around for many, many years and just never, kind of arranged them.
Right.
I think "World Turning Girl" is one of those songs. I think "Gun" is one of those songs.
Yeah, Gun's been around for a long
And
time.
"Psychedelic" is one of those songs that we haven't recorded yet, and
Yeah.
we're gonna try to get to. We do have Dave's. So I won't speak for Dave, but he's the proprietor of Studio 23, which is where Joey spent the last 5 years
Recording.
of his musical career recording, by virtue of its handicap accessible and also free, which
Also
are two
free.
really good qualities.
That's how I got in the band.
Yeah. So what,
I better let him in. He's recording me for free.
Right. No, he loved you.
I know.
well, it's a hidden gem down there in Prospect, but
It is, and it's a very comfortable place to be. I look forward to working there.
Thank you. Yeah, it is.
Absolutely.
Pretty comfy. Well, it's at my house, so it's got to be comfy, right?
Right. You make yourself right at home when you get on to Studio 23.
so we could talk about the stuff that isn't recorded yet a little bit later after we get wherever we get to, but
Yeah, we'll probably get into that probably about the last hour.
yeah.
Yeah, we'll head into that. We're kind of I loved your idea of going chronologically, and so let's go around the room like Brian had suggested and talk about how we met Joey. You're first, Tim, because I think you've known him the longest in the room. I think.
Yeah. So we were my brothers and I were doing some we're playing up in Norfolk at the old town hall, and somehow the word got out that there was a band playing up in the town hall every Saturday or something like that in Norfolk. So Joey found out about us, and he stopped in one day, and he liked what he heard, and he was actually in a different band, and he didn't actually tell the other band that he was going to break up with the other band. So it was kind of a funny thing, but he played drums for the first couple of times that we played, and then he decided that I think he wanted to play guitar, and I'm not sure where he got his guitar from. It was a left-handed Les Paul, Gibson Les Paul Deluxe, and it was strung upside down and backwards, and when Joey played, I don't know if any I know Dave, you probably when Joey played the guitar, most people play it, and it was strummed down. They hit the bass strings first, and then the treble strings. Well, he played the other way around, and it became a sound that was really different. It was a different sound. His chords would actually sound different, and if you tried to follow his chords by looking at him, it was like everything was backwards,
That
you know.
was
So,
impossible.
but it was
That was
yeah.
impossible.
But he had the ability to play that way and make it really sound good. So.
Well, then
Yeah.
he tuned down a half step too, so that would just mess you up even further.
True.
Wow, cool. Well, thank you. You guys, somebody want to play another song? Oh, no, actually, we're going around the room. What am I doing?
Well,
Andy's
I
next.
think, no.
All right,
Brian
Dave.
had previous experience with him. I think you
Did you?
Yeah, right. I met Joey about 12, 13 years ago when I first moved up here. So I've had 2 stints, and I think they're both because of Craigslist. And-
Yes, actually, he did find you on Craigslist.
They've
Yes.
since taken the personal ads down.
Yeah.
Craigslist.
Yeah.
No more
But
casual
beyond
encounters.
that, so a local drummer, Colin Bell, and I drove up to Joey's house, and we set up a jam in his mom's kitchen, and we went through some songs. I think he really only had a couple of originals. I mostly remember playing some covers. And right when we were done, he looked at Colin and said, "Yeah, I like you a lot." And he looked at me and goes, "I'm not so sure about you." But for multiple reasons, we didn't end up hooking up. And a lot of it was just logistical, because we were like, if we ever play at Colin's house in his basement jam room, I was like, well, I don't know how we'd ever get Joey in. And if we did, we'd never get him back out.
Right.
And for those that don't know, Joey was a paraplegic who had a motorcycle accident when he was 23, but you would never know it. And I'll share an interesting story that I learned a couple weeks ago. And anyone asked if Joey would ever fly out of his chair, and well, a guy I was doing a job with recently told me that he was at a party with Joey some time back, and someone was really getting to him, and he flew out of his chair.
Yes.
He was not afraid of he wasn't afraid of anybody what to tell him or even to throw down if he had to, and he went crawling across that floor after the guy.
Well, and it was amazing. I mean, he was so incredibly strong, and somebody who is a paraplegic, but still uses their arms. He had arm muscles like most adult men have leg muscles in their 30s. You know what I mean? Like he was just jacked, from all the moving himself around. He was really very able-bodied, so you didn't want to mess with him.
I used to say he had the strength of an ape and no remorse.
Right. That is great. Okay.
He definitely didn't let this handicap keep him away from anything. I can remember taking a ride in one of his first cars after his accident, and he didn't have it wasn't set up for a handicapped person. And how are you going to drive this thing? So he took out an ice scraper, one of those long ice scrapers from the back, and that's how he was using it for the accelerator and the brake pedal. So, oh my God, I'm in the car with this guy, and he's, so he definitely wasn't going to let anything hold him back for anything he wanted to do.
That's a little scary.
Well, it's
Just
funny
the way
because
he always drove.
when he got his little
That's all he had was those sticks. That's how we did it.
yeah, the car he has, his little sports car. He went from a van to like a Scion, right? This little sports car, little zoomy
I
thing.
was surprised when he got that.
Yeah, I was too. Yeah, and he loved it, and he had it all figured out how to get the chair in and out. I mean,
He was going broke putting gas in the van. I mean,
Right.
About 4
well,
gallons
and
of
not
gas.
only that, but the thing like there was all kinds of things going wrong. So he'd have to like yell out for help in the parking lot to have somebody pick up the cotter pin that dropped out. And the poor guy, he was like, "I'm done with this."
Yeah, if the lift on the van broke, he was really boned because
Yes.
there was no way he was going to be able to climb in and out of there.
No.
But the car he could manage. He could
Right.
do so. It made sense.
So who are we up to next, Dave?
Now I'm up to me.
All right, Dave, right in that microphone.
I remember meeting Joey actually was through Art, who played some of the keyboards on the
Art Carp.
Art Carp, yeah. And he had been trying to get Joey to come down to the studio. He said, because you can just drive yourself right in. It's a
Right.
level. And Joey would always say, I'm not recorded in no home studio. It's not going to be good enough for him. So he did finally talk him into coming down, and he brought his acoustic guitar down. And I set him up, and he sat there and played a bunch of tunes. And actually, he played Padelay and sang it.
Yes, yeah.
And that's the track that's on the CD. I just took that, and we built the rest right around it. So that was the first time he came down to the
Nice.
studio.
One hit, one take.
Yeah. And then he liked it. So, of course, he kept coming back. And he was always worried about how he was going to pay me.
Right.
That's what to worry about. I like recording. Come down and record. So then after we did that, he asked me to do a couple guitar parts, and then he said, "Oh, why don't you be in the band?"
Right.
So that ensured
gotcha.
he got his free recordings.
And a good bandmate, and you guys, definitely some really good chemistry with you
Yeah, I
guys.
think
I've seen you on stage. I've seen you guys in the studio. Heard the music you guys produce, and the chemistry was fantastic. So, yeah, my pleasure. Oh my goodness! All right, Andy, how'd you meet him?
Well, I met him. Dave brought me in. I've known Dave since 1993, so what's that, about 25 years now we've been playing together
Wow.
in various other incarnations of different projects. But I was very available, not working very much. But we had gotten into playing a little bit more together, and we have a summertime band that we put together called the Crap Tones.
Yes,
So-
I've seen the Crap Tones.
It was in doing the Crap Tones that I think Dave remembered that I could play the drums, and then Chip Damiani, I don't know if I'm getting his last name right. May he rest in peace. But Chip Damiani was playing with these guys and played a couple of gigs with them, but he was a very busy guy, and so I think they were looking for somebody who was more permanent. So they just kind of started trying people out. And tried a few people out. It didn't. Nobody was good enough for Joey, and then so I came in to said, "Why don't you come down to a practice?" So I got the game CD from Dave, and learned all the songs on it, and in like a night, and showed up at practice, and it was pretty much like we nailed it. The first practice,
Nice.
it felt really good, and I was really excited because it was. It was a 5-piece band, and it was, the guy could sing and play. We had a front man, and
Everything you ever dreamed of.
no, but it was,
No,
and it was also, I knew it was going to be like a one day a week commitment with rare gigs and more
Right.
recording, which is kind of more aligned with my interests. But that first practice, I will tell you that the aforementioned Joe Scortino, who I hope is listening,
I actually thought he was stopping in. I
he
had
took
heard that.
a beating that night. I'll tell you something. He took an absolute beating. Here I am sitting here, and there's this crazy man in a wheelchair screaming at his best friend, get a notebook. What's the matter with you? And just all kinds of
Explicit.
Yeah, and I'm, honestly, I'm not a guitar player, barely even a musician, but I couldn't hear what he was doing wrong. And so I was listening for it, and I couldn't hear what he was doing wrong. But Joey heard it, and that's something I learned to trust, that Joey's ears were extremely adept.
Yes.
If one person in the room made a mistake, they'd get a look. He'd stop. What was that?
I know.
Depending on where you were on the spectrum of getting disciplined, he would either stop what he was doing and discipline you, or he'd let you go once or twice before you got his full attention.
Gotcha. Wow, like a Catholic school nun.
Oh, yeah, very much so. I used to tell him that all the time, like, get your ruler out and hit my knuckles.
Yeah. That was what, Tim?
I seen his guitar play across the room one time.
Ooh. Well,
was-
speaking to the microphone.
I was really amazed at how durable these Fender Stratocasters are, because it went right across the room down. We were playing down in South Canaan at his house in South Canaan, and I can't remember if it was it might have been the bass player that we had at the time, but he's pretty upset that we kept going over this one song and it wasn't coming out right, and that Fender Strat went right across the living room. It's crazy. Yeah.
I could see him doing that.
Right.
Darcy, I used to tell him we had all the dysfunction of a very popular rock band, of a
Perfect.
successful rock band, but we just didn't have the success. We had all the problems, just not the success.
Gotcha.
And so we were halfway there, the way we saw it.
Well, I'll tell you, whatever it did, it all worked out well. You would never know that there was anything going on but perfection behind the backgrounds when that CD came out, or when you guys played on stage. You guys always, Lord knows I've seen you play a few times.
Yes.
But
Second to last gig was Still River last year at your music festival. So
yeah, and that's going to be dedicated to Joey this year in Joey's memory. And we've actually asked, I've reached out to all the bands that are playing to see if they would please learn a couple of Joey songs. So Joey Sexton music will be a thread throughout the festival.
that'd be really cool to hear other acts
Yeah.
Yeah.
interpret. And they should, you know,
the best form of flattery, right?
Play it any way you
Yes.
want. I'd love to hear some of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to threaten him with remixing a lot of his songs. And,
Torture.
He'd say, "Can't wait to hear it. Can I have a vocal track?" No.
Well, how I met Joey. We've got just a couple of minutes, just enough time to tell you how I met Joey. Then we'll do the sponsors, and we're going to call Laurent after that in the 5 o'clock hour. I met Joey because I was, we had a mutual musician friend at the time, and he was going to be practicing with this person. This person was attempting to start a project. It never ever got beyond a couple practices, but I was on my way home, and I live going up East Main Street out towards New Hartford. So this person's like, I don't have time to go up there and load his stuff. Joey needed help loading like his amp and all of his stuff because it wasn't like when he goes down to Studio 23 and everything is set up for Joey. You know what I mean? This was like, so I'm like, well, where does he live? I'll go load his stuff. I mean, I'd been playing roadie for this other individual for a while anyways. And so he's like, oh, I don't know. Joey was like really nervous, but I showed up and, I had summer clothes on, which included pumps and like probably a skirt, and so I show up and I'm like, I ring the buzzer, to get in and da-da-da. He opens the door. He's like, you? He said, you? He's like, how are you going to load my stuff? I'm like, get out of my way. I'm like, get out of my way and I'll show you, and I did. I loaded all of his stuff up in the van. And, of course, if you knew Joey, you could see like just him wheeling around and being like nerved up, like is she going to hurt herself, but more so is she going to hurt my stuff, like is she going to drop my road case or my guitars, and that is literally how we met. The first time we ever met was like that. It was just me showing up to be a roadie, and then he and I we kept in contact from that day on, absolutely. And that, not a long time. It's only been 3 years, but I've got to say, maybe a little over 3 years, but I am so blessed to have known him. And I feel like my life has been permanently enriched, for having had that time.
I think we all feel that.
Absolutely. Yeah, it didn't take long. Joey was somebody who you could get to know very quickly. Not that you could ever know everything about him.
Right, no.
But you knew who he was very early. He would, because he was completely transparent, very truthful person.
I love that.
And
straight shooter.
He could give you feedback, and he could take feedback when he was in the right mood.
Yep. Yes. I know. I was laughing. We were working on something one day, and it was guitar chords. And you know how hard it was to learn anything from him on guitar if you didn't play like him. And I remember one day I was just so frustrated. I just looked at him and broke out into tears. And I'm like, I stood up. I looked at him. I said, "It's not you. It's me." And I left. And he was like, I called him the next day. He's like, "I'm really glad you said that. I was worried." I'm like, and I knew, and I knew it was just a level of frustration because we couldn't connect, the direction with my hands to do it, so, but it was frustration, and I remember just like going into tears. But I knew he would feel bad, so I made sure to tell him before I left, "It's not you, it's me." Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah, what a character. All right, it is the top of the hour. We're going to listen to some messages from some sponsors, and we're going to play the weather, and then we're going to get back to it. I'm going to call Laurent, actually, out in California. So Laurent, I know you're listening. There's a lot of people listening all over the place, and I want to thank everybody who's tuning in. Juan and Skippy and, oh my goodness, all of Joey's cousins, Nate and Allison and Jason and Brian and Cohen and all you guys. So I just, want you to all know that we are thinking about you while we are here in the studio. All right, now some messages from our sponsors.
WAPJ Radio receives financial support from Torrington Downtown Partners, on the web at torringtondowntownpartners.com. Patty's Cleaning Plus, LLC, residential and commercial cleaning, 860-459-4553. Adams Roofing, Siding, Windows, and Gutters, your exterior home professionals. Dave is available at 860-201-3067 for your estimate. Torrington Ford Lincoln, serving the Torrington area for over 30 years. They're located at 1350 East Main Street and on the web at torringtonford.com. Support also comes from TDI, Torrington Distributors Incorporated, proud to support Torrington Community Radio, WAPJ. Torrington Savings Bank, offering banking services at 7 area locations. TorringtonSavings.com. Charlotte Hungerford Hospital, in Torrington at 540 Litchfield Street. On the web at charlottehungerford.org. Nutmeg Conservatory for the Arts, located at 58 Main Street in Torrington. A private, nonprofit classical ballet school with training programs for talented and gifted students. On the web at nutmegconservatory.org. Listen to the Torrington High School Red Raiders Basketball Game of the Week right here on WAPJ Torrington. With your forecast from the National Weather Service, I'm Mark Channon. Apart from a passing snow flurry overnight tonight, expect partly cloudy skies with a low around 18 degrees. Cloudy skies are in store on Tuesday with snow overspreading the area in the afternoon and into the evening hours. Daytime highs on Tuesday near 35, dropping to 20 at night. Any lingering snow moves out of the area early in the day on Wednesday and makes way for sunny but cold conditions Wednesday through Friday. Afternoon highs on Wednesday will be 23 with an overnight low of 3 below. Daytime highs on Thursday just 7 degrees, near 19 on Friday under lots of sunshine. Weather on WAPJ is sponsored by Liberty Tax, 57 East Main Street, Torrington. Locally owned and operated, 860-496-1400.
Tell us a story, Tim, while I get Laurent on.
Yeah, I wasn't even thinking about that.
There you go. Everybody's on.
You know, Joey's pretty a social person. He could walk up to anybody in a crowd and he could either say hi to the person or a funny insult to the person, and the next thing you know, they'd be talking like they knew each other for years. He was very like a very very likable person to talk to. You know.
He knew everybody.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
I was recently at the bank with him here in town, and it's the same bank that I go to. I've been going there for many years now. And, of course, he's got to point out to all the girls, hey, this is my bass player over here. Yeah. And I said, they know me, Joey. Yeah. They just didn't know I was associated with you till now. I was trying to keep that on the DL, but you blew it, you know.
It's funny. We'd be taking rides around Torrington, and he'd be, you know, you didn't know what he was going to say to anybody next to you. And we were actually, I was taking him home one day, and we were stopped at a stoplight, and he just rolled the window down, and this old veteran next to us rolled the window down, and Joey said, hey, well, I talked to you for a minute. And Joey says to the guy, how do you get to Cuba from here, you know? And I thought the guy was going to be like, get out of his car. And the guy says, you don't want to go there, you know? But just the way he would say things, it was just crack you up, you know?
Yeah, he was a very extroverted, to say the least, and very open guy too. So you could, he loved busting each other. You know, like that was a favorite thing. You know, we'd get in the studio, we'd know it was going to be a good night if he got there before me and I walk in a little bit late. You know, he'd try to grab me in a certain way, or he would say something, you know, really outrageously inappropriate and not okay to say on radio. But that's how you knew it was going to be a good night, you know, and it was almost always that way. So.
It was fun. Laurent, can you hear us? Laurent? All right. Keep chatting.
I believe Laurent is Joey's Eddie Van Halen connection, isn't he? He did speak recently of that, and that Eddie was supposed to come and meet him because he's coming to Connecticut in November, but Joey's health issues prevented anything going further. And Joey's most famous of all stories, well, two of them actually, but one of them is his famous Matt Guitar Murphy story, which he loves to tell over and over again. Another one is involves Mr. Kevin Bacon, and so we all here now have only one degree of Kevin Bacon, because Joey actually did meet Kevin Bacon, and actually told Mr. Bacon to F off while he was working a gate at a private swimming beach, and who I guess Joey didn't know who he was at the time. He just said it was an attractive couple in a convertible came up, and they were looking to get into this beach without a window sticker, and Joey informed them they couldn't do that on a weekend, and he kept insisting, and I think even wanted to slip Joey $100 to get in, but Joey told him that he would lose his job if he did, and basically got angry enough to told him to go F himself, and then the guy in the car behind him informed him that you just told Kevin Bacon to screw off.
Was it post Footloose? Or
I think it was post Footloose, but I could see that being a movie that Joey didn't go see. And apparently, though, Joey...
do you think he never saw the Bacon Brothers perform at Toad's Place?
That I'm not so sure about. He apparently did meet up with Kevin, though, around a year later, and at some function up in that area, and they of course, hit it off and had a good time.
Well, I'll tell you what, there's no shortage of good stories here at all. I think maybe what we need to do is play another song. What do you guys think?
His radio show.
It is a radio show. It is about
hear
the
some
music, right? It is about the music. Laura, are you there? Huh. I do not know what's going on in our listening. But we will get Laura.
Sponsorship for...
We're going to play more music. And we're going to play a little something off of These Horses.
Which one?
'cause I found a way to watch you wash away. Just another way to see you fall. Yeah, I found a way to watch you wash away. Just another way to see you crawl. Hey, I found a way to watch you wash away. Just another way to see you fall. I found a way to watch you wash away. Just another way to see you crawl. Crawl, baby, crawl.
All right, strange arrangement by the Joey Sexton Band.
Which is in fact not a very strange arrangement. It's quite straightforward.
Quite straightforward arrangement. Yeah, and this CD is available for download. The Joey Sexton Band, These Horses. Now, Games is not. I cannot get Games on Spotify, but we'll try to rectify that at some point to make it available for download because we're getting a lot of requests for Joey Sexton music. And so, yeah, we want to make sure everybody gets it.
There's some legal matters that probably need to be settled before that can happen. So.
Yep. Hang on. You there, Laurent?
And again, we're trying to get Laurent from California.
Yes, we are.
Uh-oh.
We'll try that again.
Keep the airs alive here.
Yeah, I'm telling you. It's 5:13 here at WAPJ Torrington in downtown Torrington. Currently 27 degrees. And nice out. There's no precipitation. Nice little...
degrees in the studio.
Yes, that is actually like a heat wave in here.
And there's a dog.
And there's a dog. Somebody's walking their dog.
Yeah.
All right, there you go. Hi, Laurent.
Am I on?
Yes. Yep, you are on. I got you on speaker.
I'm on the air?
Yeah, hold that right there.
I'm good for something.
You're on the air, but barely.
Yeah, we got you. So
Nice. I'm shouting out from beautiful sunny Los Angeles.
So, Laurent, tell us how you knew Joey. How you met Joey.
How I met Joey? Well, I was 15. It was 1987. And we lived in Lakeville at the time. And I wanted to learn. I'd been like obsessed or intrigued by guitar ever since I could remember. And through a friend of mine from school, he had heard about Joey, and he brought me down to his house one night. And I remember walking up the ramp, knocking on the door, coming in, and there he was, Joey, in a commander, like rocking back and forth in his wheelchair and chain smoking his Benson and Hedges. I was like, dude, what's up, dude? And I was like, dude, you know how to finger tap? That's all I cared about at the time, of course. Eddie Van Halen was huge. Well, is. And I wanted to learn how to play guitar. And so, I can't say if he taught me anything that particular night. Probably not. He would always kick me out. All right, dude, you gotta go home. Bye. Get out of here. But little by little, yeah, man, he just, taught me my first guitar chords, and I just started going down there like every day after school. I used to go down to his house to hang out with him and smoke cigarettes because I couldn't smoke at home, and drink some beers and some gin and tonics from his mom's cabinet, and I got privy to a lot of good stuff at the time, like a lot of good songs, like all those songs, the old tunes that we've heard on the radio so far, man. And I heard all those live, like right then and there, just him and his guitar, and what else? I mean, man, he's, you know, and he had the water bed back then. He was always hanging out in the water bed, and he just hang out in his wheelchair, and they just spent hours there just talking and arguing, and he had the purple Marshall half stack. I remember that. That was like a big thing. And the rat pedal. That was the sound at the time, back in the mid '80s. The rat pedal distortion.
Nice.
And let's see what else, man. And you know, we just became amazing friends. And as I progressed on the guitar, you know, I mean, I wasn't good enough to play in the band on the guitar, but so he had me play the bass in his band, and we were in a band for, I don't know, probably a couple of years. With this dude, Mike Roses, was on drums. I don't know if Tim might know Mike Roses. And,
He's shaking his head, yeah.
Sounds very familiar.
And we played all these little backyard parties and little gigs, and, you know, like Millerton, New York, and, you know, typical, like, upstate New York type stuff, or you know, that scene. And, what else, man? And, well, then I went over to college in 1990, so, you know, I went to Boston, and we still hung out, and we always kept in touch. I always made it a point to keep in touch, and then over these last 30 years, we just always kept in touch. And we sang each other music, and actually, that Jagged Edge River, the song you guys played, I remember the first time he sent me his new CD Games, and I put that in, and I was like, oh, dude, Jagged, I was like, that song just blew me away, and I called him immediately, and I was so excited for him, because for a long time, I think, you know, he had played with kind of like hackish musicians for the most part, you know. And then I was like, man, he's finally got a band that can play, you know, like in tune, on time, with some feel and some good vibe. And I was so psyched for him, man. And it sounded great. Like, the recording was great, and the tune was awesome, obviously. But then what else? Man, Joey.
So
I can't believe it, man. Like, I just spoke to him a couple weeks ago, man, and I was pleading with him. I was like, dude, you gotta hang on for a little bit so I can come out and visit, man. And he's like, I don't know, dude. I think they're coming to get me. I was like, come on, man, don't say that, man. But and then I heard, and I was like, man, I was just devastated. And I don't know. Joey was a character. I mean, you know, anybody who knew him for even half a minute, they knew that he didn't play around, and he said exactly what was on his mind, and he was, you know, determined. And he was a prankster for sure.
Yes.
Like, I remember it's probably like 1988 or something, probably around that time. And, you know, when Steve Vai came out with the Dave Lee Roth Band, and of course Steve Vai was huge at the time, and that was, me and my buddies used to play in this little band, and one day Joey brought us down to his house. He's like, dudes, he's like, I got to tell you guys something. I don't tell everybody this, but I'm a friend of Steve Vai's. So we're like, what? And he's like, and he's coming up, and he's going to jam with us. And I'm like, dude, really? And I got the night off and everything, and I remember being so excited to go and see Steve Vai and go meet Steve Vai, man. We all showed up to this little rehearsal space, and it was like this lanky, white, trashy guy from New York State somewhere. He could play guitar, and then the whole time we're like trying to figure out, is that really Steve Vai? But of course it was. And then anyway, he got a real kick out of that. He totally had us going for a good time. Oh man, what else? God, just so many things. You know, we spent a lot of time together. We got in a lot of trouble together, and
hey,
I
Laurent.
remember the Corvair. Yeah.
Andy's got a question for you.
I got a question for you. So you played. Oh, you can't hear me on the radio. Hey, so you played some strange gigs with Joey. It sounds like. What's the strangest gig you ever played with him? I just want to compare notes.
I'll tell you what. The strangest gig we ever played is a gig that never happened, because on the way to the gig, his wheelchair fell out of some guy's pickup truck in the road. And when we got there, he didn't have his wheelchair. And so, you know, the guys, and it was like Buford. That was the kid's name. It was some kid's name was Buford, and it was a 16th birthday party. And I remember his birthday present was a case of beer, and his dad or whatever family member were like, they were like, well, we can just strap him in the chair. And Joey's like, hell with that. I'm not going to when you strap me in the chair and play. We're like, dude, I'm out of here, dude. Screw this, I'm out of here. And anyway, then I forget what happened. But yeah, that was a pretty strange one, to say the least.
Everybody's just like, wow.
I was hoping to one up you there, but I think that's a lost cause.
Crazy times.
Andy said he was hoping to one up you there, but it's probably a lost cause. Why? What's your strangest gig?
Yeah, I mean, you got to keep in mind, he was like late 20s, and he was still pretty crazy.
Yeah. He was still pretty crazy in his mid-50s.
It's different kind of crazy.
Yeah, no, of course. I mean, Joey was pretty crazy, period, but I'm sure he'd calm down quite a bit.
Yeah. So Dave can correct me on this one. If there's a you just hand me the phone, I think, and you can hear me around. Dave can correct me on this one if this was not the craziest gig that we played in the last 5 years, but Joey came into rehearsal one night and he says, guys, I got a gig for us. It's a little different. You got to hear me out on this one, though. So I got this doctor friend, and he's got 200 college kids that want to see us play. They really want to see us play. I'm like, oh, that sounds great. Is it like a party, or what is it?
Yeah.
No. It's kind of a thing. It's a training thing. It's a thing where, like, they're going to be there, and, like, they're supposed to be at a rock concert, and then a bomb goes off. We're like, wait, what? So, anyway, to not to prolong it, but we ended up out in a parking lot on a Air Force Reserve base, and we had set up the whole band, and we played about 30
two and a half songs.
Yeah, we played. He's like, yeah, we're gonna play for like 45 minutes, and then a bomb's gonna go off, and then we can pack up and go home. Well, we played for 2.5 minutes, and the doctor's running around. There's all these kids out there in the parking lot, and the doctor's running around saying, "Where's the noise? Where's the noise? Where's the bomb?" So we stopped playing, and we're like, "What's going on?" He's like, "You're supposed to make the bomb noise." So luckily, our keyboard player Artie had programmed in a bomb noise. Somehow he was always good like that. He'd come up with if you need a crow or a bomb or a penguin, whatever, he could make the noise. But so we're like, we're all looking at Joey. He's like, dude, just go along with it. So we started playing again, and then the doctor's waving his arms around. So we press the keyboard, and the bomb noise goes off through the PA, right? Well, so then all these kids start running around, and some of them are laying down on the ground. They got ketchup on their faces, and so other people come running out with bandages, and they're all wrapping each other up. And they're laughing, they're having a good time. And it was supposed to be some kind of disaster preparation, but the real disaster was that it was 90 degrees. We set up the whole band. It took us like an hour to set up everything, and then we had to break it down after we played for 2.5 minutes.
Oh, my God.
So he never ever lived that one down.
No, he did not.
He would just he'd say, "Hey guys," like 6 months later, a year later, "Hey guys, I got this gig." And before he could say "but," we'd be like, "Disaster gig, disaster gig."
Here, turn it into the.
And we got T-shirts out of the deal though, so it wasn't a total loss.
Yeah, they say "Disaster Master" on them.
Oh.
I'm gonna hand you back to Darcy.
We're passing you around, Laurent. How do you feel about that?
Like a Doobie Brother.
You're right. So, Laurent, you sent me some music today, and we did play one of the songs, which actually, after talking to Tim, there's some of these, those songs are actually on the CD that he brought. But you wrote a song that Joey was eternally mad over. Can't say the other word on air. So, but he was like, you were telling me how, he was so angry over that song. And it wasn't because he didn't like the song. Why don't you tell us about that?
You talking about my tune?
Yes, about your tune.
Oh, well, okay. So a couple of years ago, 2 years ago, I recorded some new stuff, and I sent it out to him. And I remember he got it. Or I had set up a website, and I had a bunch of stuff on there. And I started with a few songs that I had recently recorded, and he sent me a text one day, and he's like, dude, WTF, man, it just makes me want to throw my guitar in the trash. He's all pissed off. He's all pissed off, right? And then,
mad.
And then I guess,
He was mad.
yeah, he was mad. I can't say that, Pete.
No, sorry.
Oh, my bad.
Learn something every day.
Yep, I guess so. Sorry, FTC.
That's all right.
He was PO'd. And then a couple days later, I probably uploaded some more songs. And anyhow, there was this one song that I had written, I'd recorded probably years earlier. But and then he sent me another text saying, and then even worse, he's like, dude, fork in the road. He's like, that's better than anything I've ever written in my life. I'm sorry, it makes me upset. Whatever, it just doesn't come out quite right if I can't say that word.
I know. I'm sorry.
He was upset, and he wanted me to send him the chords. And I mean, it was like really, for me, it was like super flattering, obviously, because I think Joey was, if anything, he was obviously a great musician, but man, he was like a really killer songwriter with a killer voice. And like you guys were talking about, he just really had, without being pop, he really did have that pop sensibility. And it's like every tune of his was like super catchy, and so it was a big deal for me. It was like, it was nice to hear some praise from him, after a long time. And so yeah, that's the story of that.
Well, we're going to play that song that you sent me a little bit later, because I can't play it while I'm on the phone with you.
Obviously.
You feel my pain. You have the same dilemma over there.
I kind of have to go because I have to get my daughter.
All right. Hey.
She's already waiting. But wait a minute.
Yep.
But I have a couple more things to say.
Okay.
I want to say that I have a lot of stories, but they're not fit for the FCC.
Okay.
So sorry.
That's okay. No, thank you.
And so maybe at the ceremony of life or celebration of life, we can all get around and talk about some real stories.
Oh, I look forward to it.
That will not be.
And then I
broadcast
wrote a little
publicly.
something, because it's easier for me to sort of gather my thoughts on paper, and I just want to read it. If that's cool with you.
Absolutely.
And then I'll sign off.
Okay.
I'll just read it. Joey, you little bastard, Joey. You gotta say it with the right voice. I love you, man. I'll miss you more than words can say. You are a true friend, a real friend, a brother, a mentor, an inspiration, a great musician, and a fantastic performer. Your will to live life to its fullest was unmatched, and there's millions of people walking on two legs only wishing they could have done what you've done in your wheels. You've touched the hearts of many, and you'll continue to do so with the legacy you've left behind. Your music, your laugh, your women, your guitars, your no BS ways. I love you, man. Your voice will always echo in my mind.
That was beautiful, Laurent. Thank you.
Laurent.
Well said.
Yeah, man.
Well said. Laurent, I
Well,
look
listen.
so forward to meeting you in the weeks to come.
Oh, yeah.
You are
I
flying
can't
out.
wait. I haven't been out east in a long time, and it's really unfortunate that this is the reason, but nonetheless, it's going to be a great time, and I'm really looking forward to meeting you, and really thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to, let me come on the air and talk a little bit about one of my very, very good friends.
You got it. My pleasure. That's what we're here for, community radio.
I love it.
I
Thank
love
you
it.
so much.
You're welcome, Laurent, and I will see you
All right.
soon, and we will make a date for you to come into the studio while you are here.
Oh, sounds good. All right.
All right. Bye. All right, Laurent. Well, that was nice. Took a little finagling and a little improvisation, but we got it done.
Yeah, Joey used to talk about Laurent all the time.
All the
Always talk about him
time.
and
All the time.
how proud he was of him, and he took full credit for everything.
Yes, full credit, and he had great pride
Oh, yeah, he
in Laurent and what he had done with music. And honestly, when Laurent I'm like, yeah, I know who you are. I'm like, oh my God, I've heard all about you. It's so I really look forward to meeting him, and I feel like, for many of us, Joey, even in his passing, is giving us all gifts. You know what I mean? I feel like he's set the course, so to speak, for all of us, many of us, to stay in touch and stay in contact. Like he gave us work to do after his passing.
He did.
He did, and he left it in writing.
That's right.
Not deniable. And I want to take a minute and I want to thank all of you guys for coming in and just let everybody know that WAPJ is listener supported and also supported by the Nutmeg Conservatory for the Arts, Charlotte Hungerford Hospital, Torrington Ford Lincoln, TDI, Torrington Distributors Inc., Adams Roofing, Siding, Windows and Gutters, Torrington Savings Bank, and Torrington Downtown Partners. Thank you guys for your support here at WAPJ Torrington. All right. Had to do that part. So we were talking about the music and how he left us, directions.
We want to answer that?
No. No, I no, not while we're live.
And,
It's a little weird when I jump off the air and start talking to somebody on the phone. Management doesn't like that.
when I first, Darcy, to get back to the music, I guess it was your request. So when I first came in to the band, we had jumped right into recording These Horses, and I hadn't worked with anybody like Joey before, who was, everything that I've always done has been more kind of collaborative. You don't come in, like, nobody ever comes in with a song that's completely done, lyrics, suspender, belt, bow tie, and the whole 9 yards. So that was kind of new for me. And it was very exciting for me because it felt very professional and very, like, wow, this is what a real musician does. And so the first song that we actually recorded together was Does That Sound Strange? And he came in and he started the conversation by saying, okay, I got this new song. It came to me in a dream. What? That's interesting, Joe. What kind of dream was it? Well, I dreamed some crows were carrying me away.
This is where the crow comes in. Okay.
So it was going to be a fun ride after that, and it was cool. Like, he choreographed the whole thing. He said, you hit this tom this many times, and like he didn't do drum notation, and nor do I read it, but it was like he would tell me every note, go dagadung, then boom boom, dagadung, and and that's how we would learn the song. Like, and I don't know if you got that one queued up.
Yeah. Tell me again, what's the name of the song?
Does That Sound Strange? Yeah.
And that is on Games?
No, it's on These Horses.
It's on These Horses. Guess
Oh,
what?
sorry, I set you up.
All right. That was Strange Arrangement off of These Horses CDs by the Joey Sexton Band. You are listening to The Hotspot. My name is Darcy. Thank you guys for tuning in. We've got AJ and Dave left in the studio, and we've got Jacques in the studio with us, and we are paying tribute to our good friend Joey Sexton, who unfortunately passed away after a short battle with brain cancer on January 10th of this year. So we're just doing our best to keep him alive with happy memories, playing his music, and actually going to work on more music. And Jacques, I want to thank you for all your help tonight, because I got in and there was no Audacity on the computer. I'm like, what? Hang on. Who stole the Audacity? That's how I record our studio, our studio stuff. So Jacques was kind enough to run down and get me some CDs, and so we're improvising. But Jacques, thank you.
And Darcy, I really want to thank you for having this tribute for Joey. It's not quite hit me yet.
No.
I don't think it will for a while. But I know that Joey's got a lot of friends out there that are listening to the show, and we just want to ask for your continued support here at WAPJ. When we started the Singer-Songwriter Network, Joey was a very vital member of the Singer-Songwriter Network, and we took all kinds of trips to New York and Rhode Island, and we did a lot of stuff together and made a lot of friendships, and Joey was a big part of that. And before his passing, I had posted something on Facebook when we were performing at Dawn's Getaway with Dr. Mike. And I was looking at the picture and, just kind of lamenting over Dr. Mike's passing. And then a few days later, we got the news about Joey. But Darcy, I'm just so happy that you were able to be there with him and kept him, kept his spirits up. And we all are so sorry about this situation. And we're just trying to support each other to get through this. But to hear his music today and to see the support that he had here from his friends and fellow musicians is just very inspiring. And I know if Joey was looking down now, he wouldn't be saying nothing. He'd be like, look at those wild horses down there at WAPJ.
Yeah, that's right.
So, to all Joey's friends, on behalf of myself, Darcy, and the WAPJ family here, we want to send out our condolences, and hopefully we'll be able to move forward in Joey's memory with the musical legacy that he left for us. So.
Yeah, thank you, Jacques. Thank you so much. And again, for all your help in saving the day so we could record this, because there are so many people.
They're hugging.
They're hugging? We're a happy family here at WAPJ. What can I say? That's right. The world of arts, people, and joy. That's what WAPJ stands for. So,
Thanks, guys.
thank you, Jacques.
Thank you,
Have a
Jacques.
great
Nice to meet
night.
you.
Thanks for
Thank you
stopping
very
in. Saving the bacon tonight. That's what Jacques was doing.
It's a great man right there.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's actually going to be emceeing the Still River Music Festival this year.
Well, let's talk a little bit about that.
All righty. It's settled down. There's only 3 of us in here. There was 7 of us. It got a little packed. It's great, though. I love that. Yeah, it was awesome. So, yes, Joey was a big part of Still River Music Festival. Not only because you guys played it, but because he was always in the background with me. When I first decided to do it, he was one of the first people I went to and said, well, I did it now. I went ahead and reserved a fairgrounds and started telling everybody I'm putting on a music festival. He was like, all right, you're going to do it. He's like, you're going to be great at this. And, but he was always so supportive. He might have been a rough around the edges, but he thought nothing of being the wind beneath somebody's wings.
No, he was anything to do with music or supporting other musicians. Not to say, he didn't have his jealousies from time to time, or
Right.
feuds, or perceived or real feuds with some other local musicians from time to time. He'd always kiss and make up, and he was super supportive of so many fledgling musicians, and always, for myself, I hadn't played in quite a while. I was kind of going back and forth between whether I was done or not done or whatever, and then kind of warmed up a little bit. And then that first practice, it was like, wow, he made me feel like I could be, in a band, and I could be a legitimate player if I chose to be, and play real music, like with other real musicians. It was cool, because I think a lot of us play a lot when we're young, and we have dreams and visions. I'm going to be a rock star, and then reality sets in, and then the job sets in, and the
Right,
kids, and the family, and
family.
the house, and
Yeah.
the bills, and everything else sets in, and then you put those things aside. Joey never put that aside, not for 1 minute. He had the mentality that he was a rock star,
Right. Yeah, and he was.
and he was.
And he absolutely was. I know, I would go sit at his apartment, and Joey's apartment was filled with guitars. Always filled. And I'd sit on the couch or on one of the chairs or whatever, and he'd be like, which one are you looking at? And I'm like, oh, I don't know. He's like, pick that one up over there and play it. It's like he just always was encouraging, and after, we had a mutual friend that it just ended up kind of being a bad experience kind of for both of us in different ways. But he was saying to me, like, the week before he passed away, he says, we're on the phone. He says, you turned out to be a great friend. I says, you too. And I'm like, who would have thought? I'm like, who would have thought? He's, and he was such a genuine person. Just genuine. But yeah, so he was a big supporter of the festival. And he was like the first one, well, do we get a slot? Not like, oh yeah, we're playing. He's like, well, do we? I'm like, of course you guys get a slot. You'll be there every year. And even up until, December, the very end of December, he had every intentions of playing the Still River Music Festival with you guys. And so unfortunately, he will not be able to be with us, but Still River Music Festival will be in his memory this year. I actually have a phenomenal artist who is working on some commemorative art for T-shirts and things like that. So we've given the artist who's actually done our logo the last 2 years a whole bunch of information, some pictures, some stuff to read about Joey. And so he is going to pull all this together into a commemorative piece that we'll also be using at the festival. And a lot of the bands are going to be learning some of Joey's tunes. So his music will
Have
be
you gotten any commitments yet?
okay. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, yes. Yes, absolutely. Definitely got commitments, and it gets to the point because with Still River, and Joey and I had talked about this too when I first designed the first year. And I said I don't want half-hour sets. You know what I mean? Because it's a lot. The bands get up there, they get all warmed up, and in a half hour, you're just like rocking, and it's time to go.
Yeah.
So I said, I can't do that. I don't want to do that, which meant I couldn't have as many bands. You know what I mean? So, he and I, knocked that back and forth, but decided ultimately that it was better to showcase a band than to give people a sample. And so that's, but every year he's like, well, I know we played the last 2 years and you like to change it up. I'm like, yeah, but that's, most other things, but there's going to be a few staples, Joey, and you're going to be one of them, So. Yeah,
it was a good time. It was a brave thing for you to do, Darcy, to start a music festival, in a I don't know how saturated the marketplace is in Connecticut with local band music festivals. Not very is my guess, but sometimes it's a scene that's lukewarm,
right?
And I think that it was a very brave undertaking, and it has been successful. And I think for those that have actually gone out and seen it and enjoyed it, it's been, it's like, this is really cool. The bands
Thank
are all
you.
really good. I was surprised at people I'd never heard of. Not that I'm, like living the nightlife out here
Right.
in T-Town, but
You just got to tune into my show. You'll hear all the local musicians.
well, unfortunately, I don't think that the wattage. I don't think you broadcast quite as far as. And I'm a terrestrial radio. Guy. I don't
Gotcha.
do the-
We
I
have
don't do the
tune in.
internet.
We are 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, streaming live.
I heard they have the internet on computers now.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking about it, but.
How come you're not still calling it the World Wide Web?
Oh, well, I closed my Prodigy account 2 years ago, so
Jeez.
I haven't been back on that horse.
ICQ. Dave's dying over there. ICQ.
He's even older than me. He's even older than me. Don't let him fool you.
Who is?
You.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, you are.
And Dave, you look great tonight. I love that shirt.
Oh, thanks.
Very
nice
I have
shirt.
to go to work this way. That's why.
Oh, gotcha.
It's not my norm.
But this is how you know he doesn't do work anymore, because he used to come home and he'd have grease on him somewhere. He's clean. He's spotless.
We don't have any grease.
There's no grease.
No grace.
Grease free.
I'm getting ready for retirement, so
Is that coming soon?
Oh, yeah.
We'd like to make that announcement on the air.
Yes.
and it's going to be all music.
It's just all
After
music all the
that.
time. Well, you know what? Connecticut has that to look forward to, and other places too, I think, because of that internet thing.
Right.
I think when
You mean
Dave
the
starts
World
doing
Wide
music,
Web?
when Dave
Yeah.
starts doing music full time, not only will the Joey Sexton last album to be named later get finished, I think.
We will.
And
Yes.
there's something about that too, because we actually, Dave has been doing the work and going through. He has a habit of recording a lot of our sessions.
Yay.
So
We need to back up and give the listeners a little bit of a backstory to the story. Joey and the band had an EP in the looms.
It was a full LP.
Well, all right, a full LP.
Yeah.
All right, he had a full album in the looms when Joey passed away, and Joey left us all directions, and basically he was working on a song that was very, very special to him, and he told me numerous times this is the greatest song that he'll have ever written, and he literally wrote the last verse before he went to bed that last night, that he was with us, and mentally with us. And so, and then he had told the guys, this is what I want. This is what you're to do. And Dave, you've got the chops, and do this with this song and that song and this song. And I was only going to get EV speakers if I made sure you guys did it. So guess what?
His illness progressed so quickly.
It did.
We knew he was having surgery at the end of November, and he was scared, and he told us, this is a big deal, and he had been having trouble with his face, and so he was kind of okay. We had a gig lined up at the Bitter End in New York City, which we were all really excited to do,
right.
But then we canceled that because he wasn't feeling up to it. And then it was November, right around Thanksgiving, he had the surgery, and I think he had some complications after that, and he had a seizure. And I think as soon as he had the seizure, he knew he didn't have long. And
right.
That was all of a sudden, it was like 3 weeks later. And all he kept saying to me was, we got to finish this. I just want to finish the album. I just want to finish this. I just want to record. And this was an argument that we'd had for 3 years. Like,
right.
Let's record this album. Because
it's true.
Because I won't candy coat it. If you knew Joey, you knew that he had more health problems than he ever let on.
Right. Yeah, and a lot of people would not have known that unless
you wouldn't know it.
And that's why he would kick people out. He needed to go lay down. Yeah. He needed to get out of that chair and off the pressure points.
How he did what he did was a miracle, let alone how he continued to do it.
Right.
And I think
smile.
And smile.
Yes.
He never complained.
Yeah.
How he did that.
And he never complained, and it was hard. Even those of us that talked to him all the time and were close with him, and I'm certainly not. I can only speak for myself. There's other people that knew him a lot better than me, but from what I could see, he just, he let little things out here and there, like, who knows, and he had the heart attack,
right?
I think he knew
and oh my goodness,
he knew he was a time bomb.
And and he had he had wounds that never left him, and that's something that a lot of people who are paraplegic and in a wheelchair or are in an adaptive device for long periods of time will end up with pressure wounds, and he had those, and he battled those for years. But he worked, but he knew how to take care of himself. Yeah. Amazingly enough, he knew everything he needed to do for himself, and the heart attack. That was about a year and a half ago. Just about a year and a half ago. Yeah. And he had that heart attack. He called me from the hospital. He's like, hey. He's like, I'm at the hospital. I'm like, Joey, what's wrong? He didn't even sound like there was anything that wrong with him, right?
No, he didn't.
He's like,
he's back to practice next week.
Yeah, he's like, so he says to me, he says, I had a heart attack. I'm like, what? And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, oh. He's like, nah, I'm fine. I'm going to be home. They're going to let me out. And so he got home and he went and he played Allison and Jason's wedding with Sherry Lee.
That's right.
2 days after the heart attack. And nobody expected it. Nobody expected him to, of course. You know what I mean? His family, Sherry, we were all like, thought he was nuts. You're like, what are you doing? You just got out of the hospital from having a heart attack like yesterday. He's like, nope, I'm going to play that gig. And he did. He wanted to play that gig for them. He wanted to be there for Allison and Jason's wedding. And the pictures are beautiful. And he was
there's a video. I think Sherry has some links on her Facebook too.
Yeah, he was so absolutely
really
proud to be playing for them for their wedding. So I'm really glad. And the pictures and the videos are beautiful. Yeah. Yep, Sherry Lee. That's right. All the people he knew. Yep. A shout out to Claire out in New Zealand.
I don't know. Is she listening? Oh, maybe on the.
Yeah, we're on the World Wide Web. I know you're only terrestrial over there. Extraterrestrial, like E.T.
The last gig,
Dave's gonna die.
the last gig we actually played, I think, was in August. Dave, am I right? August of last year. We played at a local motorcycle club.
Yes.
Clubhouse
For a
we were
benefit.
Benefit. And it was a benefit gig, and they were friends of his, and that was one of those instances where it was like, just everybody there had to come up and give him a hug, and everybody knew him, and it was just there was 20 people there that just were so happy to see him, and they were all cheering him and having us play, and it was like
dancing,
they
grooving,
were having a good time. And
That happened wherever we went.
wherever we went. Yeah,
It always did.
He was so charismatic, and he had the greatest hair. Honest to God, he really did. And that's like, I don't know why I noticed something like that about people, but he really did. I mean, and it wasn't gray or anything. I mean, it's just like he had this great, I used to call him Fluffy. That was like one of my nicknames where I used to call him Fluffy.
I wanted to call him Fluffy.
I used to tell him Billy Squire wants his hair back. Because he was old enough to get that joke.
Something about age. So there will be an EP that will come out. It'll be Joey's last works in collaboration with the band, and
it'll be probably a full.
Yeah,
a full
I think
CD.
we got
good, all right.
11 tracks. Yeah.
well, he kept calling it an EP in his notes, but it's an LP.
Yeah, well, he kind of
We've got
wanted to do that originally. But he
Gotcha.
had so many good songs. I said, no, we got to record a whole nother CD. So I think
Good.
we're going to do that.
we had it up to 14 or 15 at one point. I think
Yeah.
it got pared down to
It'll
11.
be about 11
Yeah.
probably.
And-
And we'll use his many tracks that we have of him. I'm just going to try and extract everything I
Yep.
can and put it in there, and then we'll do the rest.
Nice.
I
I
think
think it'll work.
we haven't really decided exactly what we're going to do, and who's going to copyright it when it's done. It's all So, but we think that it might be fun to work with a variety of different people, and maybe have different vocalists on different songs, because obviously we don't have vocal tracks for all of
Right.
his songs, and none of us are really capable. I mean, Dave is probably the closest approximation. we
Well,
have to a
according to the
singer.
With my
directions.
voice today, I probably could do it.
You probably could, actually. We'll just feed you whiskey and
horse.
cigarettes.
Yeah, right. Well, it's funny because that in his note, Dave, you've got the
That's what he
chops.
told me. Because they always used to say that. I said, I can't sing your stuff.
Well, I have a feeling that over the next couple of weeks, we're going to see a lot of really good musicians that he's already done work with. And I think there's going to be a great pool of talent to pull from.
We'll just see who
Yeah.
steps up, who's interested in the project.
Yep.
And it's,
Careful putting that out there because your door will be beat down. 14 songs won't be enough.
don't worry, Dave is very good at firing people.
Oh. And nobody knows where he lives.
Well, they're going to have to. That's the problem. They're all going to know where he lives.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Oh, exciting stuff.
I only fired one guy.
So, yes.
Joey made me.
But you're still the best at it because you've got one experience.
So, yeah, exciting. So, everybody can look forward to one more Joey Sexton band CD before all is said and done.
And maybe some live stuff, too. I have a lot of live stuff.
Nice. And actually,
We'll
we
see
do.
what we can.
We have live stuff too from Still River.
Yeah.
Yeah. We recorded that off the board. Actually, Diane Davis and Melba Studios.
Shout out to Diane.
Yeah,
Had
shout out to Di.
a brief stint.
Yes.
As the bass player for the band.
Yep.
And she's a fine musician and a great human being. And
Yeah.
we really liked working with her.
Yep, absolutely. And yeah, so we'll talk with her. But yeah, she in Melba Studios. She does a lot for AIM for a Better Tomorrow. She's part of us now. She's joined us, and she does a lot for the festival. So big shout out to Diane. She's one of the most
she's a hell of a
technical.
player, and she's strong, man. That bass weighs about 80 pounds.
I know it does. I swear to God, if you were to stand it up next to her, it's as big as she is.
Oh yeah.
Like width and everything. Like, oh my goodness, a huge bass.
I should say it's Bubinga. I think.
Right.
Or maybe it's Tigerwood. I don't know. If I say the wrong thing, she'll probably call in and yell at me.
Probably.
No, she'll let me know the next time I see her, though, if she's listening.
You said it was Bubinga, but it's actually South American
I'll get
teak
the
wood. Yeah.
I'll get the 411 for you.
It's lignum vitae.
All right, I think we need another Joey Sexton song.
Before I keep naming woods.
Oh dear.
Scraping the bottom of the barrel there.
I don't know why.
Perhaps it's an exotic swamp oak barrel.
Swamp oak barrel.
Swamp oak barrel.
Swamp oak makes good barrels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so this one's for you.
Oh, what is it?
These days I'm finding time to find new places. I'm finding time, finding my old friends. And with each day I see the passing days are passing me. Enough about me, let's talk about girls. Love the color blue, it reminds me about the sky. And I've seen the sky in this one girl's eyes. She kinda reminds me of you. She makes me feel like I'm brand new. Enough about girls, let's talk about the world. Let's talk about the world. Sun, the moon, and stars. The world is 1, 2, 3. The world is you and me. Enough about the world, let's talk about girls.
All right, that was going out to Andy. Enough about that. Off the Game CD by the Joey Sexton Band. I want to thank you guys for tuning in tonight and listening to the Hotspot, where we play local original music. And tonight we are paying tribute to our late great friend Joey Sexton. And I want to thank the Nutmeg Conservatory for the Arts, Torrington Ford Lincoln, Adams Roofing, Siding, Windows and Gutters, Torrington Downtown Partners, Torrington Savings Bank, TDI, Torrington Distributors, Inc., and the Charlotte Hungerford Hospital for all their continued support at WAPJ Torrington, your community radio station. We are located on your FM dial at 89.9 and 105.1 Torrington. If you are outside of our listening area, you can catch us on the World Wide Web, streaming live 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on your favorite TuneIn app, or go right to WAPJ.org and hit the Listen Live button. We're also all over social media. We're on Bookface at WAPJ 89.9 and 105.1 FM Torrington. And we are on Snapchat and Twitter at WAPJ 89.9. All right. And we are in the studio playing Joey Sexton music. Oh, yes, I'll turn your mic back on now that we're done talking about wood.
Enough about that.
Enough about that. Yeah.
The audience can't see you rolling your eyes when you're saying all those things.
Well, it's funny because our Facebook page name is so long. 3 years, I still have to look up there to make sure I don't transpose it. You're telling on me. That's not fair.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Just trying to create a more visual experience for the listener.
Pretty soon he's going to be in the background going, and the lights are down low. Oh, my God.
He might have been doing that already.
Yeah, he might have already, and we don't even know it.
You got your headphones on?
Yeah, the ambience of the light off the boards.
We were talking a little bit about the new CD, and there's we've been playing out, I would say, 4 or 5 of those songs for the last couple of years.
Yeah.
There's Falling. I don't know if you got any of this stuff queued up, if we should listen to any of the newer tracks.
And they are on where?
They are on the Still River.
I do not have that queued up
You
because
can't
we
get
had
it.
a few issues, technical issues here in the studio,
you
so I
can't get
do not
YouTube.
have that. That is on YouTube though.
Oh.
The Still River
How about your
YouTube
phone?
on my phone. No, because all of those are like 45 and 50 minutes long.
Oh, so you have to
So I
queue it
had to
up.
have
Yeah.
somebody actually like
Oh,
kind of
shoot, I should've
process
chopped it up
them.
for you.
Yeah.
Any of those songs anywhere where they can, like Falling,
Yeah.
Heidi Joe.
So
Heidi
there's-
Joe is actually online. If you go to my Facebook page, there's a recording of it. I did a Facebook Live. Or no, it was just a video. It wasn't Facebook Live hadn't even been invented yet.
Wow.
And so, but yeah, of course now my phone fell on the floor, so I can't even
actually
reach it.
have
It's gonna have to be yours.
I have Heidi Joe
All right.
on my phone, but I have an iPhone 10, so you probably can't plug it in unless you got the adapter. No, I haven't got one of those 1/8-inch plugs.
Yeah.
What do you use? Some kind of troglodyte?
A troglodyte.
It's all Thunderbolt or nothing, lady.
So where did you find this?
I got it in my Dropbox, so that's not going to help us.
Nope.
Anyway, so moving on. There's Due South was the first one that we did, and that one we have Joey. I think we have a
Yeah.
vocal track.
Yeah.
Falling, we have a vocal track.
Falling is almost done, actually.
Falling's almost done.
Heidi Joe, we have vocals.
And Falling, actually, Diana has the bass on that one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and it's funny because we talked about that bass track. We talked about the different tracks. We would talk about band practice usually about the week, and he'd tell me how good it went or how nothing got done.
He emailed it, Andy.
Oh yeah, he loved that bass track. He really
He did,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's really good. He was no dummy. Due South, Falling, Heidi Joe, Hobo Junction is one that we've played out, and I've got a lot of regrets about mostly about time not spent or just things we didn't accomplish together.
Yeah.
But
I
if I have,
understand.
my biggest regret is I would want him to tell me the truth about Hobo Junction. Did he see the movie Emperor or the North Pole before he wrote the song or after he wrote the song?
Right.
Because he literally mentions Old Cigarette, who's a character in that movie, and he told me he'd never seen that movie.
That's what he said. He never saw it.
Yeah, we
And I would tend to believe it because he'd tell you.
Yeah.
And just like he told us how he took parts of Led Zeppelin in this one and that one, and
But if you took that movie and wrote a song about it, it would be Hobo Junction. Like all the words make sense. It follows the plot of the movie, for God's sake. And he claimed that he never saw that movie before he wrote the song.
When did he write Hobo Junction?
Oh God, 2 years ago maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, probably.
I know where Hobo Junction came from. I can tell you the story about how Hobo Junction. There was up at Michael Corey Terrace. One of the residents there has a niece who is still an active train jumper.
Yeah.
And that's what she does. And so he would sit around and talk with her. We'd all sit out in the parking lot at Michael Corey Terrace and smoke our cigarettes 25 feet off the building after they changed the rules. And we would all sit out there and talk. And that's how Hobo Junction came, because she would tell him about her adventures train jumping.
That's right. He told
Now
us
I know
that.
what happened. She saw the movie and told him the plot.
Got to
of-
get that movie in there.
Told
somehow.
him the plot of the movie as if it had happened to her. He believed her, and then wrote a song about it. That makes more sense. now.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, that makes. Now I feel better.
But that is where Hobo Junction came from. It was from his interaction with the young lady.
Well, I made him watch the movie.
Did you
After-
really?
After I heard the song, I said, "You got to watch this movie," and he's like, "Yeah, I don't see the similarity." So it's just he deadpanned me on that one. I was dying. Wait, Joe, it's a movie about hobos
Yes.
jumping trains.
Hobo. Hey, I have a dog named Hobo. Maybe it was about him. No, I'm just kidding.
And then there's, I think, Gun. We have a pretty good recording of Gun. We have a good live recording.
We
of
have a
Gun.
good live recording.
Yeah.
Decent live recording.
Hey, live recordings are awesome.
I think if
Yeah.
maybe one live song gets onto the album, so
We could do that.
Like if that recording of Gun is good enough. But then there's some other songs that we had just begun to work on. Magnetic Transport.
Right.
You
Gravity.
You got two. The Workshop was one he was really
Psychedelic.
psychedelic was one we tossed around a bunch of times. We have an old recording of that. Like that psychedelic he brought in when we were recording These Horses.
Yeah, right.
And he said it was quite a bit older than that. And it never made it on the album. It was
Right.
more of a complicated arrangement, I think. I don't think he ever really, well, maybe he did fully arrange it. But
we never really
got all the way
no.
through it.
I have some room recordings of it,
Yeah.
but
Those room recordings are worth $1 million now.
yeah, I listened to it. But I went through a lot of our stuff so we could see what we could put on this CD, and some of them were pretty funny.
But it's
Yeah. And Dave, I just want to recap. We've got Dave in the studio and we've got Andy in the studio, who were bandmates of Joey's. And actually, Dave owns Studio 23 down in Prospect, where they did all their recordings. So that's, so when he tells us he's going through his archives. Yes, absolutely. That would be the backstory to that.
So the songs that we didn't actually record with Joey are some of the more complex songs. I think he was really evolving from Games to These Horses. I think he took a step. And I think from These Horses to this album, there's a couple of tracks that are, very classic Joey tracks, but then he was branching out and he was doing some different things. And I think involving the band a little bit more and collaborating than he ever did.
Right.
Not that it was a lot, but he was.
Well, that showed confidence in you guys.
He always used to say, like he said it so frequently, like I love this band, I love playing in the band, and it made everybody feel so
Yeah,
good
he
to
always
be in
did.
it. You know,
Yes.
like we were just so happy to be there with him, and we had our bad nights, like
Of
anybody.
course. Of course, he had his Wednesday mornings.
yeah,
He'd be like, I'm done. We're not doing it. That's it. I've had it.
Yeah, we're like rats in a barrel after a while. You just
we
sort
used
of.
to do that on Tuesday nights sometimes.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But it would never stay that way. It was always just a moment of frustration.
Yeah.
Which, and and likewise, everybody in that room at one point or another said, I'm out of here. Everybody at one point. And that happens in every band. But the difference is you guys all stuck it out. You know what I mean? Made it happen.
Yeah.
And I'm excited about the song Fighting Gravity. Was that one of the ones you guys had talked about?
No,
No.
nope, never heard of it.
Okay. Well,
He
then,
actually mentioned it as a title. I didn't know there was a song associated.
yeah, there's a song and a story behind it
Yeah.
with one of his medical visits. Yeah, when he was going through all this stuff with the tumor surgery, there was he was at a visit, and being in the wheelchair, he had to get up and down off exam tables and everything. And so there was a thing, and the lady's like, he's like, oh, this is what I'm gonna do, and he had it all figured out. And the nurse looked at him and says, oh, fighting gravity. And he was like, what's your name? He actually got her name, wrote it down so that he could give her credit for sparking that song. And so, but it was
He's
about
already
fighting.
picturing her name in the liner notes. I guarantee
Yes.
you. Like, he was already picturing it. I'll make sure she gets into the liner notes, and he would too.
Yeah, he absolutely was. And her name was Michelle, actually.
Thanks, Michelle. I cheered
That's how much we talked about it.
He did mention that to me on the phone.
Yep.
I think
remember it now.
I know the title, but I didn't know that he had actually fleshed anything out to do
Yeah.
with it. So maybe he's got words. I don't know.
Well, get into the notebooks.
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely. And the last song, the one that he had been working on for a few weeks, and that last, like I said, he finished it right before everything, took a final turn. And he kept saying that was going to be his greatest song ever. That he felt that one, out of everything he'd ever written, was the best. And I don't know if it was because lyrically it was the best or because he felt the best about it.
It was pretty topical for him, which wasn't his normal go-to.
Right.
Like, he wrote a lot of very personal lyrics about people he knew and things that had happened, but he wasn't frequently topical or trying to get political or anything. And
Right.
This song was both relevant culturally and also relevant personally to him.
Yes.
So
Yeah, it
I
was.
think that was what really he was really hoping to get that. He wanted to get in the studio, and the week that he died, we were supposed to get together the day,
Right.
actually, and then when he called me on Friday or Saturday that week, and he said, I don't think I'm going to be able to drive. Maybe Brian can drive. And I said, listen, can you strum? Because
Right.
if you can strum, we'll come to you. And
Right.
and then the Tuesday morning, I got the call from you, and that was
Right.
but, yeah.
Yeah, that was not what I was expecting. That morning, especially I had just seen him the afternoon before this show. I would always stop in and see him on Mondays. We'd go outside and smoke cigarettes with the rest of the Michael Corey crew. Love those guys. Great bunch of people up there. So, but yeah. So, folks, it's not the end quite yet. There's still going to be some more Joey Sexton Band music to come. We'll keep everybody abreast of that. We'll do, we'll be talking about it on the air.
I mean, Dave is the producer and makes, he's going to call the shots, but I don't think I'm speaking out of school if I say we're not going to leave anything that's reasonable, hidden away somewhere.
Right.
We'll make sure everything's available.
Absolutely.
Everything that can be made available will be.
Yep.
And, we're just happy to. It's amazing how many people have come out of the woodwork, and
Right.
everybody just wishes they'd had a chance to see him again and knew that this was coming. It happened so fast. Nobody had time.
No, it was literally 11 weeks from the onset of the symptoms and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And then, it was over in 11 weeks. We all thought we knew we didn't have a lot of time with him, but we thought we had more than that.
Yeah. So while Darcy is getting up and leaving the room,
No, I'm just
we could take this opportunity to talk more about what kind of exotic. We could talk more about something very irrelevant, like maybe how many strings were on that bass. I think there was 8. I think she had 8 strings.
Oh, died?
Yeah.
6.
She had 6 on
6 string.
Yeah, Diane has a 6-string bass.
there? Wow.
Yeah. Rod Norwood sums it up to her playing like, she plays the bass like you walk a dog. That's how Rod puts it about Diane.
Stops and poops every once in a while.
No. Oh, gosh.
So that's kind of confusing.
Well, anyways, so enough about that.
I would like maybe he would describe my drumming the same way. That'd be really cool. Like, yeah, he plays the drums like he walks a dog. Goes along good, then stops and poops.
Oh, my goodness, you guys. It's too funny. It's really been a blast having you guys in here. And I think we need to play.
Let's just finish it. Play it out.
I think you are right. I think we're going to end the night with some good Joey tunes. I want to shout out again to everybody that has reached out over the last couple of weeks, whether it be to me, other friends, family, and just everybody staying connected. And I appreciate that. There is a celebration of life for Joey being held on February 9th, starting at 4 p.m. That is going to be at the VFW in Canaan. And that'll be cash bar. There will be a PA set up. Actually, Corey Raymond and his dad, Craig, from Sono Studios are going to actually bring the PA, set everything up so that the musicians that would like to play can play. So we just encourage everybody that would like to play, when you show up, check in with Corey, because Corey's going to be organizing all of that to make sure it all flows smoothly as possible. And it is a bring a dish. It's a potluck. I always tell everybody, make what you like to eat, because that's what you make good. Right? And then you know you don't starve, because even if you don't like anything else there, you'll like what you brought.
Words of wisdom.
Right. Take that with you forever.
We'll put it at the end of the new CD.
Yeah. Right. This is how you handle a potluck. All right. And definitely, shout out to Joey's family. They were very, very special to him, and to all the people at Michael Corey Terrace. Our little band of smokers, we used to all sit out there, and even the non-smokers would sit and talk to us,
That's where all the cool kids are.
That's right. That's where all the cool kids are, on the bench.
Well, Darcy, I want to thank you very much for inviting us in and humoring us and talking about Joey for a couple of hours. It's time well spent.
Yes,
absolutely.
And
my pleasure.
Check out Studio 23 and check out the Still River Music Festival. And thank you very much. Once
My
again.
pleasure. Well, bittersweet. I love having you guys in. It's definitely different without Joey here, but I plan to have you guys back, because we're all going to stay connected. We got some work to do.
Sounds good.
We have our orders.
Our orders.
Signed, sealed, and delivered. And the one thing that I do want to say in closing, before we go to the music, is one thing Joey said to me throughout the entire event was no regrets. He had no regrets.
No.
If you can leave this world and not have regrets, you have done very well. And that's what he told me. He says when he got the first diagnosis with the tumor in the neck, he just looked at me and said, Darce, no regrets. He says, I don't care. He says, he says, I'm never going to do radiation or chemo. He says, no regrets, I'm telling you now. And it was, he said it to me
He watched his mom
nonstop.
go through that.
Right.
And
Yes.
he wasn't going to go through that.
Yep. No
he
regrets.
wasn't going to do that to the people that loved him.
Right.
So that was just the last gift, I think, in a way.
Yeah.
I'll say that one thing that would be really different if he had been in the studio with us today is nobody else would have been allowed to talk that much. So.
Yeah. I know. I've actually heard your voices for the first time.
Yeah, you didn't know we could talk. Like, we just sit there with our arms crossed, waiting for direction.
Yeah. Beating the drum. Strum when you're told to strum.
The one thing I will say, though, is all of us in the band, and I think maybe anyone that worked with him in that capacity would have, after a short period of time, developed a strong inner Joey, so that you know exactly what he would have said to you if you did something good or bad. So you would, I do have a very strong internal Joey, and I know exactly
Yes.
how he would react to everything that I've said tonight.
Oh, yeah.
And I wish that I could have said it to his face.
Right. Well, thank you guys so very much. And again, thank you to everybody that tuned in. We appreciate it. I do have some recordings thanks to Jacques, and we will make sure that probably by the end of the week, they will be up on stillrivermusicfestival.com. There will be a link to the YouTube page. All right, so we've got 8 minutes, which means we can do 2 songs. We're going to do World Turning Girl and These Horses. All right.
Thanks, Darcy.
My pleasure. You're listening to the Hotspot. I will be back Thursday morning, and I will talk to you then for the Miscellaneous Morning Show. And as always, we have the lovely Sharon coming in to talk about all things Torrington. Till then, have a nice, safe week.
You've been turning my whole world around. The sight of you, my heart starts to pound. I'm in a better way, and it's a better day. It could be another cold winter day. You come along, the cold goes away, the sun starts to shine, the day turns out fine. And you don't know what you mean to me. The look in your eyes, it sets me free like sunshine. And you take all my cares away. You make my day a better day with sunshine. I could be mad at the whole darn world. You come along just by being the girl of my world. You make the mad go away. You got that certain aura to make things right. Later on you come light up my night with your moves. You know you got that groove. And you don't know what you mean to me. The look in your eyes, it sets me free like sunshine. And you take all my cares away. You make my day a better day with the sunshine. You bring a smile into my day. Without you here, there wouldn't be no way. It's just a better day. You don't know what you mean to me. The look in your eyes sets me free like sunshine. And you take all my cares away. You make my day a better day with sunshine. You don't know what you mean to me. The look in your eyes, it sets me free like sunshine. And you take all my cares away. You make my day a better day with the sunshine. Yeah, the sunshine. With the sunshine. Yeah, the sunshine, with the sunshine.